Hi everyone, my name is Kusaselisha Mashiane and I have been part of Mentec Foundation for training SAP S for Hana, and I have been introduced to that SAP in a very simpler form. And what I'm going to do today is to introduce you how was my experience and how it has benefited me as the future consultant for SAP as for Hana Finance. My journey, I made the application just like everyone, and luckily I was accepted to be the part of the group to be trained for SAP as for Hana Finance. And my journey has been nothing but good in terms of the learning and how it was delivered to me. The foundation has found ways to introduce someone who's never been part of the SAP S4HANA in the simpler way for us to be able to understand and how the entire software operates. And what I've learned is SAP S4HANA can increase the productivity within our organization, and also it would better the reporting as we deal with numbers and everything. So it has the ability to provide us with a form of accuracy when it's come to the reporting. And my journey with the trainer that was training me has been the greatest, because she is able to tap herself to each and every individual who was the part of the class, and also to open that image that SAP is here to stay, and it's here to make life easier for each and every individual within the corporate, or people who are also willing to be starting their businesses in the future. They can also invest the entire to the SAP software in terms of having to provide them with the better productivity and the benefit that it would bring to the organization. Should they go to the owning business side, it would definitely benefit everyone who was in the class and who would always apply all the transactions that were introduced to them for their organization to be productive and to perform well within the market. And yeah, I'm hoping that my journey of becoming SAP finance consultant is going to be the best thing I have ever done for myself. And for now, that's all I have.
My name is Zandile Kaula. I was fortunate enough to be afforded the opportunity to join Mentec Foundation for the SAP S4HANA finance training, which was 3 weeks. It was a very insightful course that we experienced, because I've had experience with SAP S4HANA finance, where I was project coordinating the module. This experience allowed me to be able to get in-depth knowledge on the module, which is the SAP S4HANA Finance. The training itself was very relaxed. The training was very insightful. Our trainer was able to walk us through every single item, all the units that we needed to learn, and every day was paced very well, where we could take away something. It was not too clustered. The information that was given to us was not clustered. We were able to digest properly the information that we received every day for the 3 weeks that we were attending our classes. So with this information that I had taken away, it made me fall in love again with what SAP is and what SAP is bringing back into to the work environment, into the IT space technology, and what I can contribute to SAP as well. Knowledge is power, and this is what Mentec Foundation has been able to afford me with, this information, that I now have power to say that I've been in this environment and I am now able to share information, be in a sitting with people that are professionals in the SAP S/4HANA FICO finance module, and I'm able to actually have input in there. This is what the course has done has given me with the 3 weeks that I was in the training. My journey with SAP started 10 years ago, where I've had experience and been able to be surrounded by the different SAP modules. This time around, I was very fortunate, as I've said, to be able to learn so much more on the SAP S/4HANA Finance module. It has sparked a very big interest in me to be able to say that I want to focus on being perhaps even a consultant and a SAP finance consultant in this field. So over the years, SAP has opened many doors for me in the corporate space. With this being said, I would like to say thank you to Mentec Foundation for having given us the opportunity to expand our knowledge, expand what we can actually, what is out there in the SAP finance, S/4HANA finance space. I really do appreciate the opportunity to have been able to learn, and I'm sure that with what the world has out there, I could learn some more. Thank you.
My name is Mendine Dimande. I'm a trainer at Mentec Foundation. My journey with SAP started back then when I was just a fresh graduate from university, and I started working for one of the government departments, and I got exposed to SAP at that point during the era of SAP R3. During that time, the job that I was doing, I was going from one government department to another, and the government departments were using SAP at that time. And my love for SAP, I think the seed was planted at that time. And then I got exposed further in my career when I was an articled clerk at one of the big 5 firms, where most of the clients that I audited at the time were also using SAP R3 at the time. And the love kept growing and growing and growing. And I got very interested, and I also got very attracted to getting to know and understanding SAP. And by the time I started working, when I finished my articles, I then was very lucky to be employed on a temporary basis at one of the big SOEs in the country. And when I was there, within 5 months, I was then appointed into a position of financial manager. I was seconded. And during the secondment, that's when the company at that time, the SOE, decided that they want to migrate from a legacy system to SAP. So being a financial manager at that point, I was then obviously in a position to now be able to explore and be part of the implementation team at that time. The implementation at the SOE really gave me a chance to understand what it means to be part of a big team, to be part of a big SAP team, to be part of a big client team, and to sit in all those meetings and sessions where the client, being me as part of the client and the SAP team discussing and mapping and planning on how SAP can then help the SOE to be able to give them a system that will then at the end translate into the financial results that would be obviously presented and shared with everyone who is involved. So at that point, when you do these implementations with SAP, you get to also realize and understand and appreciate even more what SAP puts into, they put their heart into making sure that when a business runs on their ERP system, regardless of which ERP system they're running on. For instance, when I was first exposed to the implementation, the SOE was implementing ERP 6.0 at that time and EHP PAC 3. So they were implementing ERP 6.0, EHP 3. And then a few years down the line, they implemented EHP 6, then EHP 7, then EHP 8. So during the whole time when I was part of all these implementations, the fortunate part, I think, for me was the fact that I then was afforded again an opportunity to be moved from being a financial manager to joining the SAP Center of Excellence at the SOE of the time. And at that point, being part of the Center of Excellence now gave me an opportunity to be on the other side. Remember when I was on the implementation side as a financial manager, I was a client, I represented the client, and my exposure and experience was basically understanding how SAP can help me as a client to be able to get the results that would be expected from the system. Now, fast forward, joining the SAP Center of Excellence, I was then on the side of being on the support of business, where I now had to not be part of business, but be part of a team that now tries to understand what business requires and help business to translate their requirements into what I would then be able to communicate with the SAP team to make sure that the results that the system would then give is what business is expecting. And in doing that, I was in that position where I was part of the implementation team for the different areas, change management, where business was growing, where there was changes and developments, and I was part of all of that. And having the love for SAP that I had from when I started and growing as an SAP student as well, if I may call it that, it really afforded me the opportunity to keep growing and keep loving SAP. And then along the way of those implementations and being part of a team in the SOE, being part of a team for me meant that now I get to understand how SAP, as integrated as it is, how then I play a role in making sure that in that chain, those links that needs to be connected, I'm able to assist business to make sure that the chains where I play a role, I understand and make sure that business gets the satisfaction. So as part of the COE, not just being part of implementations whenever there was a chance, when there were changes in business, when there were business decisions that required change and that required the SAP Center of Excellence, the COE, to be involved. It also gave me a chance to connect with people at different levels within the organization, because it was quite a big organization that I was working for. And in that space in SAP, you get to then be in communication with the SAP teams, be in communication with the client, which is my users on the system. And that's where as well I started doing training. I started doing training for project systems and finance within the Center of Excellence. And remember, when you're working with SAP, it is an integrated system. So in that process, when I'm focusing on the areas that I'm doing, I also have to have an understanding of how it connects and integrates with the other areas within SAP, the modules within SAP, your HR, your supply chain, your finance. Within finance, there's all those different modules, your assets. And it was just a pleasure and so much fun getting to mix and learn. And in that journey of learning, I was also in a position to impart knowledge and share with, at that time, my colleagues who were the SAP system end users. So it was a journey that took 14 years. And over the 14 years, I had to try and, be able to integrate and also be able to understand how people operate, how people think, because I was training people of different calibers, from your CFOs to your engineers to your PAs to your finance people. And then along the journey, I met up with Mentec Foundation. And boy, I'm happy that I'm at Mentec Foundation, because I find my wings just spreading and spreading and spreading, because now I am meeting different people again of different calibers, of different ages. I train people that are still new, who are very confused as to what they want to do. The other students are students that are already studying and they're not sure if what they're studying is the right direction. They still want to understand how then they can maybe fit into the SAP world. So together with those students that are still new and have never even heard of SAP, I'm glad that this journey with Mentec Foundation is helping me help others. I impart knowledge to them, and in the process, I serve as a mentor to them as well. I serve as a guide to them as well. I also serve as a guide to, I have mentioned that I train people of different calibers. You find people that are already in the IT space and they want to explore and grow their knowledge of IT. And they want to see how, if they have to work from where they are and they want to mix it with SAP, where do they fit into the big picture of SAP? I'm glad that I'm able then to impart knowledge about how SAP works, that it's not just an ERP system. You also find the technical side of it, where you find your avatars, you find your bases, you find your PI consultants, you find all these specialists. And I'm so happy that I'm able to share that knowledge with people that are already in the IT space, but they're not aware of what SAP has to offer. And then lastly, I have people that are already in the field of working, and they are working for companies that use SAP, but they do not know how the integration affects them or how they connect with the other colleagues within the business or the organization where they're working. And me being a trainer and being able to explain to them and give them the knowledge that they require for them to go back to their employment and probably also be able to contribute to their management or their bosses to say, I've attended the Mentec SAP S/4HANA Finance Program, and I have learned in the 3 weeks this and that and that, and now I have a better understanding of how I fit into the big picture of SAP and how I contribute to the success of our company, for instance, our organization using SAP, whether they are already on SAP S/4HANA or not. I'm just happy that I'm part of that journey. It's not just a journey for me. It's a journey of exploring for me, a journey of exploring for my student. And I'm happy that Mentec is giving me that opportunity to be able to share, explore, educate, mentor, and guide all the people that I meet along the way. And I'm grateful on behalf of my students, and I'm grateful on my behalf as well to Mentec. Mentec, you are doing a good job. The students love what Mentec does. The students are happy attending these sessions. That's the message that I can give to Mentec. That is what the students tell me. That is what they send me on WhatsApp and tell me that, please tell Mentec we are happy. And we are happy as well that we are on this SAP journey and we have been exposed to SAP and SAP, because now we're able to sort of find a direction, especially for those students that don't know which direction to go. And they now have a better understanding of what SAP is and where they fit in the big picture. Thank you, Mentec, and thank you to the students. Thank you.